Muy buenos días, América.
Buenos
Yo
dias
tengo
to our democracy.
la vacuna.
Buenos dias to our democracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Buenos días. Stephanie está llevando amarilla. El color amarilla.
Okay.
She's wearing yellow this morning. I have about 12 Texas Democrats with me in my booth right now. They're cowering under the table.
Are you harboring them? Okay.
Yeah, they're
Are you a
whispering to me like-
sanctuary? You're a sanctuary sound booth.
They can't sleep. They just keep muttering, Joe Manchin, Joe Manchin, Joe Manchin, Joe Manchin, Joe Manchin. We need Joe Manchin, Joe Manchin.
Go to sleep. Go to
Cinema.
sleep. Go to sleep.
Cinema, Manchin, Cinema, Manchin.
Okay. Here's Chuck Schumer talking about the Texas Democrats. What's happening in Texas?
What the Republican governor is doing in Texas is just despicable. Despicable. It boils my blood to even watch what they're doing to these brave people, when there's not any serious evidence of voter fraud. We know what they're doing.
Yep, and one more.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer yesterday.
History will show that these Texas legislators, these brave people who are visiting us here in D.C., are on the right side. And history will show that the Texas governor are on the wrong side. And when you hear the arguments from some of our Senate Republicans, they're not that different than the arguments made by segregationist senators from the South 50 years ago.
Yeah. So Carlos, I don't know what to say. We feel like we are at some tipping point where, at least this is like shows you what balls is and trying to do something, right? I mean, there's Greg Abbott doing his tough guy. Oh, they'll be arrested as soon as they come back.
Mr. Potter.
Pardon me?
Arrest that rabble. George Bailey will be arrested in jail. Happy New Year, George Bailey. I mean, if you're in a wheelchair and you're a jerk, you must have been a really big jerk before you got in that wheelchair. It's supposed to humble you. It's supposed to give you some graciousness and thankfulness that, my gosh, I've been sort of diminished a little bit by what's happened to me.
Yeah.
If you're... What
He is the
happened
worst.
to these human beings?
And he can't even make his power grid work in Texas. And he's,
Right.
Oh my God. This is why I adopted Colonel Steve Austin from Texas. It's like I'm the Great Pyrenees Underground Railroad. They're trying to get him out of Texas because he won't even sign a bill that says don't be cruel to dogs. Don't chain them in the heat all day long outside. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. What will humble this guy? What will humiliate him? What will make these people in the Republican Party turn back into human beings? I mean, I can't fathom a fear that great that you would just sell out everything. You got your parents, you have children.
Yeah.
What are you going to leave behind?
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham. No.
Oh, she hasn't seen that yet. She hasn't seen that yet.
Ugh.
What is going on?
You don't
Oh,
wanna-
it went on Hannity last night.
What
You
happened?
don't want to see it.
Lindsey Graham licking the air? What?
Licking my lip. I saw a cute little.
What? I don't understand what happened. Lindsey Graham was on Hannity licking his own lips.
He was trying to lick his fear off the upper lip.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The fear is just stuck right on his lip. Let me lick off my fear.
Yeah.
John McCain's no longer alive. I don't have to behave.
Oh,
It's gross.
I
But
don't
yeah,
even- I
it's-
don't know if I can actually watch that, but okay.
But the Texas Democrats are pleading with Congress to basically end the filibuster.
Did he
You got to
just-
help us. You got to have our
Yeah.
backs.
Yeah. Did he just leave Mar-a-Lago? Was he wiping off the? Okay.
No. Hey.
Oh God, I can't take that much in this show. I've been cleaning up puppy urine all morning, and now I have to hear about Lauren Boebert's pork sliders causing bloody diarrhea and whatever Lindsey Graham is licking off his. Okay, I gotta take a break and talk to Kate in Illinois. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. No, mine does not work. Hi, Katie in Illinois. Hi. All right.
Oh, congratulations on Steve Austin.
Thank you.
I also adopted a dog, same situation, from Tennessee. He's a puppy. He's a hound mix named Walter White. My son named him. He got it at Breaking Bad.
Yo, what's up? Mr. White, come.
Walter.
Hey.
I love dogs with human names.
Yes.
So my childhood friend, we've been friends since we were 10, so we've been friends for 30 years. The day after the insurrection, she posted on Facebook a picture with her knit Trump hat, and she was like, it was all about love, and it was great. And I, like, immediately lost it. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's a nurse, no mask. She's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, God.
But she met these group of QAnon Betties that she's friends with now through church.
Nice.
And she is, like, believing that everybody's trying to turn everybody transgender.
Oh.
So she goes to the insurrection, or she goes to the rally. She didn't go to the insurrection, but I said, what are you thinking? Don't you realize what you're a part of? This is treason. And all her friends attacked me and started telling her to take out the trash, meaning me. And I said, listen, I love you. You know, we've been through a lot together. Our friend died. We were at her bed when she took her last breath. And suddenly my friend has turned into this person I don't recognize, and it breaks my heart. And I just, it's a cult. I told her, I said, you are in a cult.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have. I talked about Katie. I have an anti-vaxxer friend here who I love. It's an old friend from, I don't even know, 20 years. You know, and I was just talking about this LA Times story that's, you know, absolutely said we're surging here in LA County because of selfish, unvaccinated people and the Delta variant. So I know what you mean. I can't be in the bloodthirsty Chris Lavoie cabal because he's just like, hurry up and die, all of you. Well, I love people that won't get vaccinated. And so I can't, but I don't know what to do either. I don't know how it is. You're right, Katie. It's a cult. How do we rescue them back from a cult?
Oh. No idea.
Yeah, I know.
The irony is that how do you rescue people away from they were sitting targets because of COVID, because they're staying at home more and spending more time on their devices. So the irony is that if they would take the vaccines and get out of their house, they would be less susceptible to this kind of misinformation just seeped into their daily lives because they're bored.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
they need a reason to live.
That's the thing, Carlos. It isn't just, as Dr. Redlener said to us, it's like drunk driving. It is not just you're putting at risk. And that's what this LA Times story was talking about, that, you know, it is surging here because of the amount of people that won't get vaccinated.
And I understand vaccine hesitancy. I spoke with a gentleman the other day, African-American gentleman, and he said, hey, I know somebody who's got the vaccine and they perished. And I have to listen to stories like that, because if that gives you cause for concern, that is a real concern for them. But I sort of liken it to, if you're going to go swimming in the ocean, somebody's going to get attacked by a shark, you know, and those are so rare. So we have to err, unfortunately, because it's a pandemic,
Carlos,
we have to err on the side of better science.
Scientifically, I don't even know that any deaths have been connected to the vaccine.
That's what I asked.
I mean, it's okay. That's all I'm
saying.
That's
what I asked.
Yeah. These are historically unbelievably safe statistically. I mean, Dr. Fauci said that yesterday. The data is overwhelming.
You're right, Stephanie. It's exactly what I said. The data.
Fauci.
This is like Jason Momoa walking into a sorority and not leaving with a date. The chances are almost impossible. I know he's married. It would be, chaperoned, but the chances are very good that he would leave with a date.
So, did you see the Tennessee top vaccine official was fired, right? Yes, and dealy state news. But it's, right, Travis says now it's not just, they can't do outreach on any vaccine
All
to
vaccines.
any young people in Tennessee at all.
Yeah, including measles, mumps, rubella,
Stuff
just
we've always
the basics.
Required vaccine for. I mean, Carlos, where were all these anti-vaxxers for years? All these vaccines have been required, mandatory to send your kid to school, right?
Well, they certainly weren't present during Operation Warp Speed. They were like, come on, Donnie. You can do it, Donnie. Get us that vaccine. Woo! Well, he didn't get reelected. I'm going to take that poison.
Tennessee's
Beatles is ready.
Tennessee's top vaccine official fired amid a push by anti-vaccine activists in her state to stop the promotion of COVID vaccine to teenagers. She said, I'm afraid for my state. I am angry for the amazing people of Tennessee Department of Health who've been mistreated by an uneducated public and leaders who have their own interests in mind. I mean, it's just, but they always got to double down. It's like now they're not just going to, she hasn't just been fired and they're not going to do outreach on COVID vaccine. Okay.
All vaccines.
Great. So now they're gonna help bring back a whole bunch of other diseases that we already thought we'd eradicated. Because now,
go Vols.
Yeah. You're like, hey, you have COVID and chickenpox is back.
Woohoo!
And when COVID and chickenpox cross paths, that's going to be dangerous.
That's going to be worse than shingles.
I got COVID pox.
Could happen.
I got one of the fancy hybrids.
Yeah.
Yes, I have diphtheria and the Delta variant.
I got splotches all over me, but I can't smell or taste anything.
I got double D's. Okay. Even Melania knew to be best not to have a super spreader event. This is one of the many things in these books. She didn't want. She did. Yes, she thought it would be best if they did not have any kind of election night party, fearing it would turn into another super spreader event like the Rose Garden ceremony for Amy Coney Island. Christy Noem wanted to attend multiple Christmas parties and would not take no for an answer. Fine, said Mrs. Trump. You know what? If she wants to get COVID that bad, that's up to her.
Wow.
Good.
Noem, as we know, supervised one of the worst COVID-19 outbreaks in the country through her leadership. Her state was one in the it's still in the top 3 for worst state responses to COVID.
But
She's
they got Smash Mouth to come.
which means she's now quickly rising in popularity among the GOP for how horribly she mismanaged COVID in her own state. Right, her popularity, Carlos, among the right wing, in part due to her decision to keep her state open regardless of how many people died. So that gets you points on the Republican side, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's all under the guise of being a strong individual by denying science, and it's really sad that people make that choice. Like, I'm listening to TikTok and QAnon for my advice on health instead of pediatrics. People just don't want to admit that we aren't strong enough to overcome a virus without a vaccine. And that's the blatant truth. We cannot overcome this by marches or QAnon or churches or praying or nutrition.
Yeah.
We need to get vaccinated. We hate to feel that vulnerable as a people.
Oh, I know.
We're stronger than a disease. Nope,
No,
you're not.
I've told this story. My anti-vaxxer friend, when I went to visit my mom last Christmas, it was like, oh, you're not going to get COVID, not with your immune system. And I'm like, I'm not that arrogant. And guess what? I got COVID. And hardly anybody eats and exercises as healthy as I do. It's just that football player, the anti-vaxxer. Who was that? This is I'm just going to eat.
Oh, the guy Beasley. Beasley used to be on the
Yeah.
Cowboys. Now he's on the Buffalo Bills.
Beasley. Right. He goes, I'm going to just eat right and drink a lot of water. I'm like, oh my God. Do we
Yeah.
not have any understanding of science in this country at all? I mean,
What he's saying is, I'm going to be a perfectly nutritionally balanced super spreader guy. I'll be okay from the virus, but even if I spread it, me, me, me. He's not thinking about other people. He's not empathetic.
Look how
He's a football player.
arrogant
Come
Bill
on.
Maher was. He got COVID, right? It's just,
Yeah.
I can't. Who's the guy that said to Doug Emhoff, the vice president's husband? He said, I'm not putting that in me unless my life's on the line. It's too late when your life is on the line to take the COVID vaccine. Like, it's just, I can't.
It's other people's lives are on the line.
Right.
It's not about you. That's just what I've said for years. Religion does not work. It does not educate people to psychologically develop themselves. It's a fail-safe in case I screw up. Jesus will save me, or that person will save me, this one will save me, this magical God will save me. Education is what saves you. Empathy doesn't come from that. It's 2,000 years has not taught people to be empathetic. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that was a bit of a buzzkill. Okay.
Well,
You're gonna
that's at the
have to
center
do
of all
extra.
of this,
You're gonna have to
though.
do extra funny voices when we come back. I mean,
I know,
I'm sorry.
but this is what-
Is that Steve Austin?
Yeah.
Is that Far Away Dog? Does he need something?
$6 million dog?
Thank you. Well, inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would be in today's dollars. We'll
Billion.
find out during the
$1.1
break.
man.
21 million. 21 minutes.
21 million
21
minutes.
million minutes after the hour. This poor.